Hey everyone, this is Friendship Club's Friendship Exchange, brought to you by Nike and St. Alfred. Today we have an incredible talent and business owner, Paige Crawford.
Hey everyone.
And her company is called League of Their Own. And it is fire. It is a club, correct?
Yeah.
That you cannot get in if you are not
A woman or identify as such, yes.
Flames. So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Paige, you are from Chicago?
I am from the south suburbs of Chicago. I know Chicagoans get mad when you're from the suburbs and say you're from Chicago, but south suburbs, Richmond Park is where I'm from.
Right.
But I live in the city now, so.
You know,
Chicago.
I've always thought I've lived in several different cities, and I understand it if we're in Chicago.
Yeah.
But if say you're in New Orleans,
nobody knows
what
Richmond Park
right.
is.
And also you still people from especially the south suburbs that I've always noticed is it's the same as the city. It's just no trains.
It's literally
that go,
20 minutes from
Yeah. And it's not your typical idea of suburban life. It's no, you can still get it. It still gets popping just like in the city.
Absolutely.
Because I have family that lives in the south suburbs as well. And the same, some moms are in the suburbs, some moms are in the city.
Yep.
It's we all at the same barbecue.
Yep.
So I believe that even though you're from the outskirts of the city, your life was in the city.
And everything I do, I've been doing is in the city. So
right.
yeah.
It's the crib. Take the metro train, bus and move.
That's it.
So we'll claim you as Chicago.
Yes.
If you have in LA, to say you're from Chicago. Well, you gotta say I'm from Chicago.
From Chicago,
the outside, but still the crib.
Yeah.
So, League of Their Own. Tell us a little bit about the concept and where it came from.
Yeah, so League of Their Own, it's kind of a community I created. So I've been involved with sports my whole life since a really young age, and I even ran track in college. But after I graduated, I wasn't really active, and I didn't want to do something super competitive and run a marathon super
right.
fast. So I was really just kind of looking for that community of just kind of chill. I wanted some girls I would wake up and be man, I wish I had friends to go play pickup ball with or go rollerblading with. And since I couldn't find that community, I was well, I guess I'll just create it myself. So that's
Amazing. Really
where it started from.
And it's unfortunate that is not a unique experience and it's unfortunate because people always talk about how sports are male dominated, and I don't think that people really grasp the idea of what that necessarily means.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about the exclusivity of women or people who identify. It's more of the not even a thought. You don't even think to have.
People don't think guys, there's open gyms everywhere for them to go play, but for a woman, it's those spaces aren't there. So it's we really have to make it for ourselves. So.
And even if there is that space, it's male dominated.
Yeah,
you go to the gym, it's just a bunch of dudes on the court.
You're playing, but it's no other women to play with.
Yeah.
But I'm okay. So yeah.
Yeah, I think what you're doing is incredible and important, and I actually like the fact that because traditionally when you think of sports clubs, you think of private clubs. Mm-hmm. They're all male dominated, and to be honest, I didn't know what it felt like to not be able to go to something.
Well, now you feel so.
Well, no, but and I like that. I believe that whatever that conveys for you, I think it's only a learning experience for everyone, and I think it opens up a new door and a space for people who feel like they are not being noticed. You know what I mean? And I love it. I think it's incredible, and we support it 1,000%, at least from Friendship Club St. Alfred's and Nike.
Awesome.
So how, I was talking with another one of our guests about the fact that sneakers in the fitness culture in the women on the women's side was pretty much non-existent because the initial and original workout methods for women did not even involve shoes. It was like aerobics and yoga and home Pilates and whatnot, and there was this like idea that men and women did not work out the same, or
which is crazy. It's
Tell me
insane.
what your I can't fathom what it would feel like to feel this way, to know that there wasn't even an infrastructure for you, but now that there is, how do you feel that that's going?
So you're talking like in regards to like women's,
just like sports attire,
so
sports gear.
I think they could still be doing a lot more for women. Sports, like for an example, like Sheryl Swoopes had her sneaker with Nike, but we haven't really seen like a woman with a signature basketball shoe since. But I do love that like Melody Asani and like people like that are getting like the platform to put on for women in the sneaker spaces. But I still think from like an athletic or like a real sports perspective, they could be doing more by like highlighting like these WNBA players, giving them the marketing like tools they could use to really like amplify like women's sneaker spaces and apparel like that.
Yeah, that's fire. No, I agree, and I think that you know, especially with today's day and age with the internet and you know, social media, it's kind of like every person of, you know, that's in the limelight has their own, in a sense, like channel or their own community and whatnot. And, you know, I feel, you know, obviously beforehand it was, of course, male dominated, you know, men's basketball, men's football, and things like that. But there are these giant communities out there of people who are obsessed with every aspect of it, and those people, I agree, deserve and need to have the dollars in the promotion behind them.
They need the same thing, because like as a woman, I would love for that, to be able to like see some super dope athlete with her shoe. Like I think it would be cool, and I think it would also be great for younger girls to see.
I totally agree. Do you so for a league of their own, when was the fruition of your, like where did the idea come from?
Yeah, so I
Be
literally
real, son.
I literally
Be real,
I
son.
literally remember. Okay, so I'm gonna go tell two stories. So first, like when I was like, okay, I'm gonna just do it, I was literally in the car with Tara Karstner and my other friend. I was like, we need a space for this. I want to do this. Would you come to that? And then they were like, yeah. So I started pushing it out like on my social media, and like my close friends would support. But I really like saw that women need their own space when a gym that I was using. Well, first, like women, when you speak up as a woman, like you're looked at as
crazy or like combative,
whatever. So
which is trash.
Basically, in the gym I was using, I stood up for what was right, and the gym manager didn't like that. So his decision was to ban all women from that gym.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. It sounds like I'm lying, but I kid you not.
But see, and that right there, what you said is a huge, unfortunate, generalized mentality that, you know, if something sounds far-fetched, they instantly just don't believe you. Like, no, it's got to be something else. And it's like, these things, like they happen, and it's very fact. And unfortunately, the people who perpetuate these negatives, they kind of know that no one's gonna believe you, and it's terrible. Is this place was in Chicago?
This place was in Chicago. It was where we would host League of Their Own, and I noticed that it wasn't the safest space for attendees either, because like men can be disgusting, simply put. So I had to cut ties with the gym just because like I don't think all the women were comfortable, and then he showed his colors by banning women.
Well,
so I'm like, that just kind of gave me reassurance, like what I'm doing is needed in the community. Like we can't have people trying to cut us out completely of these spaces. So like that was a blessing in disguise because I'm like, okay,
'Cause it
like we're onto
created-
something. Like we
Yeah.
got something going. Like we can do this. So
So you feel like that was a reassurance to say, you know what, I am doing the
yeah,
right
it's
thing.
like it really like put like there's a meaning. It's a bigger motive to it.
And so how's the reaction been for League of Their Own since you started?
I can't lie. I've been like,
You real, son.
I'm like, I'm so happy and like so still kind of shocked by the receptance of it. Like people have really liked it, and I say this because it started as it's just something I love. I love sports. I love bringing women together. So for people to like get excited about a passion, I don't want to sound selfish, but like a passion of mine,
Yeah.
it's like it's so cool. And every time a new person comes, I'm like, oh my gosh, like
That's
I'm just
awesome.
I'm really happy that it's growing really quickly actually. So
Amazing.
yeah.
And so, as an avid sports lover, do you have a favorite sport?
Yeah, so my favorite sport, well, track is my favorite sport. Like that's what I've been doing like forever. And then basketball is a second, but I hate that I like things I'm not as good at. I don't love as
Gotta
much,
give
but
yourself props, bro.
but track is my favorite. Like I love running, so yeah.
And then, so what does League of Their Own offer when someone, say someone off the street hears about you? What are they walking into?
Yeah, so we actually change sports every other week.
Oh, that's awesome.
A part of my goal is to really expose like women to sports they may not have had access to. So for an example, a month or so ago we did fencing. So I know
That's
for like
awesome.
me in black communities, like
Ain't
you
no
know
fencing,
fence, you know fence, like
Ain't no
who
fencing in the hood.
fences? So I actually found a black woman on the south side has a space called Hyde Park Fencing, and she taught us the class and we learned that. But a big
So
part.
you provide like workshops and stuff?
Yeah, so I'll find the location, everything is there, just pull up. But I try to expose people to sports, not just the typical, even though we do love it, but yeah, so we do everything. We've done volleyball, basketball, we've done track workouts, fencing. We even, like, I have a love for like art and community and stuff, so I also try to throw in like
Yeah, I noticed like you did a
fun.
planting one. Like, that's fire. Yeah.
So me and a couple friends that are more hands-on with League of Their Own, like I have an art director, Ava, and then my friend Destiny, who does a lot of like programming.
Oh yeah, we love Destiny.
Jones.
Yeah, we love Destiny.
Yeah. So they kind of helped me bring that plant workshop to life, which is really cool. It was really
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're super excited for you. We think it's an incredible journey that you're about to have because it's definitely, in my opinion, is something that's needed. How does the sneaker culture for you kind of tie into this? Because I know in Chicago specifically, there's a big sneaker culture and it's very heavily involved by women and I, it's hard to convey what's missing, right? And what I've always noticed was, from my personal experience, everybody that I know who are female from the sneaker collecting side, they all just kind of wanted the same sizes as everybody else. They wanted the same shoes everybody else wanted in their size. And then, then I heard a different perspective of one of our guests said that the reason why they like that, there's the girly colors and whatnot is because, unfortunately, she said in her experience, if somebody saw her with the, Stash 180s, they would assume that her man got them for her or that, you know what I mean? And so she said she liked the fact that there was options that were more, for the lack of a better word, feminine. But I think that, how do you feel about that aspect? Would you rather it just be equalized and all the shoes that come out there, they should just have the size run for everyone?
Yeah, I think I think they should just have the size run for everyone. They don't have to put out a color in pink for a woman. Because me, like, I used to be like heavy in the sneaker game, but I would just want the OG, like everything in the smaller sizes.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's interesting. I've never thought of it from that perspective, that if she wore something fire, they thought her guy got it for her. But no, I would want to see just everything in small. Like,
yeah, right? I'm like, just make it in all the sizes, bro.
Right, I'm like, yes.
Because I used to go in, like my first job ever was at Foot Action.
Okay.
And I worked at Foot Action, and I worked at Finish Line, I worked at all the shoe stores because I just was obsessed with sneakers. And a lot of times, this was before there was like SBs and like unique drops and whatnot. And then in the Midwest, there wasn't that like cool New York store where you can get like a different colorway. So I would a lot of times go into the women's shoe stores and buy a different colorway in my size, and then I step on the block and people are like, oh, where'd you get those? Exactly, because it was more about that, getting that.
I don't know. I used to also work like retail. I worked at the Nike store downtown, and then I also worked in Nordstrom's Nike women's boutique.
Yeah.
And my experience there was women, they wanted the OG, like they wanted the shoes in their sizes. They didn't really care, like the pink and frilly shoes would just sit.
Right.
So I'm like, that's not what we want.
Because it's almost a generalization. It's like,
it's like,
you want the little pink one?
You gotta want the pink. No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So I saw it firsthand. Like, that's not what women want.
Do you feel like there's a space that needs to be fixed as far as the retail of the sneaker game goes?
Yeah, I may be wrong or misspeaking, but I think
this is all opinion based.
I think there should be more women in the higher up position of the sneaker brands, and really, because I don't know.
I gotta say I agree with you.
I'm not sure like who's up there, but I think women that are for real like into the sneaker culture need to get those jobs to speak.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I think it just like in every aspect, if you're pushing and selling or creating something for a demographic, the person that's from that demographic needs to be the person that tells you what, like, you need that person's perspective regardless. Like, no matter what I do, I don't know what it's like to be you. So there's nothing that I can tell you from my perspective and my different way of growing up that you should have, because I don't know what it's like to feel that way. You know what I mean? So I agree.
Yeah.
So I noticed like you did a planting one. Like, that's fire.
So me and a couple friends that are more hands-on with League of Their Own, like I have an art director, Ava, and then my friend Destiny, who does a lot of like programming.
Oh yeah, we love Destiny.
Jones.
Yeah, we love Destiny. Yeah.
So they kind of helped me bring that plant workshop to life, which is really cool. It was really
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're super excited for you, and we think it's an incredible journey that you're about to have, because it's definitely, in my opinion, is something that's needed. How does the sneaker culture for you kind of tie into this? Because I know in Chicago specifically, there's a big sneaker culture, and it's very heavily involved by women, and I, it's hard to convey what's missing, right? And what I've always noticed was, from my personal experience, everybody that I know who are female from the sneaker collecting side, they all just kind of wanted the same sizes as everybody else. They wanted the same shoes everybody else wanted in their size. And then, then I hear a different perspective of one of our guests said that the reason why they like that, there's the girly colors and whatnot, is because, unfortunately, she said in her experience, if somebody saw her with the, Stash 180s, they would assume that her man got them for her, or that, you know what I mean? And so she said she liked the fact that there was options that were more, for the lack of a better word, feminine. But I think that, how do you feel about that aspect? Would you rather it just be equalized, and all the shoes that come out there, they should just have the size run for everyone?
Yeah. I think they I think they should just have the size run for everyone. They don't have to put out a color in pink for a woman. Because me, like, I used to be like heavy in the sneaker game, but I would just want the OG, like everything in the smaller sizes.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's interesting. I've never thought of it from that perspective, that if she wore something fire, they thought her guy got it for her. But no, I would want to see just everything in small. Like,
yeah, right? I'm like, just make it in all the sizes, bro.
Right, I'm like, yes.
Because I used to go in, like my first job ever was at Foot Action.
Okay.
And I worked at Foot Action, and I worked at Finish Line, I worked at all the shoe stores because I just was obsessed with sneakers. And a lot of times, this was before there was like SBs and like and unique drops and whatnot. And then in the Midwest, there wasn't that like cool New York store where you can get like a different colorway. So I would a lot of times go into the women's shoe stores and buy a different colorway in my size, and then I step on the block and people are like, oh, where'd you get those? Exactly, because it was more about that, getting that.
I don't know. I used to also work like retail. I worked at the Nike store downtown, and then I also worked in Nordstrom's Nike women's boutique.
Yeah.
And my experience there was women, they wanted the OG, like they wanted the shoes in their sizes. They didn't really care, like the pink and frilly shoes would just sit.
Right.
So I'm like, that's not what we want.
Because it's almost a generalization. It's like,
it's like,
oh, you want the little pink one?
You gotta want the pink. No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw it firsthand. Like, that's not what women want.
Do you feel like there's a space that needs to be fixed as far as the retail of the sneaker game goes?
Yeah, I may be wrong or misspeaking, but I think
this is all opinion based.
I think there should be more women in the higher up position of the sneaker brands, and really, because I don't know.
You know, I gotta say I agree with you.
I'm not sure like who's up there, but I think women that are for real like into the sneaker culture need to get those jobs to speak.
I agree. I mean, I agree. I think it just like in every aspect, if you're pushing and selling or creating something for a demographic, the person that's from that demographic needs to be the person that tells you what, like, you need that person's perspective regardless. Like, you know, no matter what I do, I don't know what it's like to be you. So there's nothing that I can tell you from my perspective and my different way of growing up that you should have, because I don't know what it's like to feel that way. You know what I mean? So yeah, I agree. So tell me where your love of sports came from.
Yeah, so my family, so my dad played basketball like in college and everything. He played for Loyola. So like even for that 80, I forget the year, but they won like the NCAA championship. But my dad was like,
that's crazy.
But it was like a long time ago. He's old.
So you come from like a family of sports.
Yeah, so my dad, he coached basketball too, and also was one of my coaches for track. So having that, like him as a huge influence, really paved the way.
So you grew up?
I grew up, and then that, and I literally my parents put me in every sport. So like,
that's awesome.
They let me test out some things to see what I like. So I did volleyball in junior high, basketball, like I did karate, like I did some of everything. So I think that's also why League of Their Own, like I don't want to just stick to, say, just basketball. I think
because each thing has values that you can. Yeah,
and it's like I had so much fun doing all those different sports, so that also played.
Did one stick out more than the other?
Yeah, track. Track, like that's my love. I was running since I was like 10.
Yeah.
And it was actually the one I excelled the most at and had the most opportunity.
Oh,
so I think that's.
But I feel like you was probably hooping up all the guys.
I was like also like in my family. In my immediate family, I don't have like any girl cousins. Yeah. So me going outside, it was like playing with my brother, playing with my cousins who are all guys. So I was out there hooping with them. So that's kind of what I was used to. So
when you started hooping with people in your age or size range, you had like an advantage?
I wouldn't say so, because like when I started, tried to hoop like competitively, it was for AAU teams. So those girls can play. So it wasn't wasn't like, oh, you were so much better than them. It was like, no, I'm in a field with other girls that hoop. So
hoop.
yeah, so it's like, no, I don't think so.
Well, I was only asking because like I grew up in in the Jordan era, and my older brother, like he just knew he was going to the NBA. My older brother's like 6 foot something, and he just thought he was Mutombo. So, and I'm 3 foot nothing. So I used to I'd play ball with him every day, and he would just send my shots across the street. All he wanted to do was beat my shots. It was kind of mean, but what it did was it taught me my 3-point game was crazy. I could shoot from half court because I couldn't go nowhere near the hole. You know what I mean? So it's like I know a lot of people they kind of develop their skill set based off of the challenges that they ran into.
No, I wouldn't say that's for me. I guess actually no, for track it did kind of.
So as far as League of Their Own goes, when someone this is weekly.
Bi-weekly now.
Okay.
Sometimes we'll do like a pop-up where it's weekly, but for the most part, every other week.
And what is the future for League of Their Own? Are you planning on expanding across the country?
So I want to tell you I'm like, do we have like a 5-year, 10-year type thing?
You tell me what you want me to know.
All right, so eventually, first I want to get like all the Chicago girls, like everyone, build our Chicago team. And then I would eventually like to have like chapters, so like League of Their Own New York, League of Their Own LA, things like that. And then this may be super far out, but I would want to build my own space, like
incredible.
Make a facility for us, because like I said, I was kicked out of the gym for being a woman, so it's needed.
You want to have that place.
So it's a lot of stuff I want to do.
Love it. And it's all executable. Just do it.
It's doable, yes.
Where did the name League of Their Own come from?
The best movie in the world. It came from...
I was wondering because I'm like, that's one of my favorite movies too.
A lot of people
Shout out to Gina Davis and Tom Hanks.
And Madonna, don't
Shout out to Madonna. No, actually, that was like a star-studded movie.
Yes,
a
lot of people, it surprised me. It's from the movie about like the first women's baseball team.
Right, which was true because when it was World War I?
It was one of the world wars, and all their husbands were gone, so they formed this league. But it's like an amazing movie. That is where
and
everyone needs to see that.
It's a fire movie. It's called League of Their Own.
It's called League of Their Own.
But it just showcases, to me, it's like, I've never understood. I always felt like if we both have 2 arms and 2 legs and speak, we can do the same things. I've never understood. I've always looked at it in the sense of, yes, there's stronger people and less stronger people, but I've never looked at it in the sense of your gender. You know what I mean? Because like my little sister is probably stronger than me. You know what I mean? Like I've never thought, oh, this person can't do this or can do this because of this or because of that. And so I really like those moments in history that showcase that all you have to do is take out the generalized equation and you'll see it flourish. You take out all the men, or even like with race, like, there was all of these baseball players who were, incredible. They have all of these stats and they have all of the records, right? And then in the Negro League, they're smashing those records every day, but you couldn't get into the regular league until until 44, and then you know what I mean. So like I like the idea. I feel like because of our world being so much more connected and so much, like information is easier and communication is easier, we're able to kind of start working towards that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you plan on keeping it mainly sports related, or do you plan on like venturing out into other social activities?
So I do want to keep it sports related because that's the purpose. But like when you say other social activities, like we've done movie night, but it still like ties back to sports. Like we watched Love and Basketball. So we can still do like these social things and incorporate sport because that's really the mission is to bring awareness to women
in sports.
Totally.
Yeah.
Is there a specific sport or activity that you're excited to do that you haven't done yet for League of Their Own? Like hockey or something?
So, even though this isn't a sport, roller skating is like a new passion of
Well,
mine.
hold on. Actually, technically, roller skating is a sport.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, roller skating was in the Olympics, right? Or there was like a
I know ice
division.
skating. Roller skating?
There was a division.
Roller skating is something I really want to bring to League of Their Own. It's something I do like every week on my own personal time. So I would want to share that experience with like League of Their Own attendees. It would be.
I love that because it really ties in like the Chicago culture.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I skate at the rink every week, so it's like, I want people to experience that like Chicago vibe for real.
And you know, it's funny you speak on this because it's actually kind of set up like a sport because each rink in the city, well, at least back in the day, there used to be Olympic Skate World, Glenwood, the rink, Fleetwood, and each skating rink had the people who worked there that worked roller skating on the floor. That was kind of like their team, and each rink would go to each other's rink and kind of battle each other.
So I'm like, I am really excited. I feel like now that League of Their Own is growing a little bit, we can make like a skating meetup really big. So. That's what I'm looking forward to. Like, that's one sport I really want to do.
That's fire.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that you're incorporating, like, not just the general, sports, but like any type of like
also
hard
like,
activity.
Wellness is a big thing. So like, if it betters your body, betters your soul, like that's something we want to do. Because like yoga isn't technically a sport, but we've done yoga before. And we've done like
just things that better your life in general.
Exactly.
You know
So
what I mean?
like sports is the focus, but we may do like some things that are more so just like being active and like health and wellness.
So you could
things.
say sports is the theme, but it's community
It's
and
community.
activity.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for inviting
Absolutely
me. This
incredible. For people who are looking for League of Their Own, where do they go?
Instagram for now, it's League of Their Own Chi. We have a website coming.
Let's
so
go.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
Once again, this is Friendship Club's Friendship Exchange, brought to you by Nike and St. Alfred's. Thank you so much, and peace.
Bye.
Now we must race.
What the heck? Oh my God.